Students, today we are going to start our lab number 10, that is series connection of two lines. Before coming towards our hardware part, first coming towards our theoretical session, and we will discuss here the connection scheme in power network. Students, you know that because of the economic importance of electric power, the special attention is given to guarantee the smooth operation of transmission devices so that the power supply to the consumer remains uninterrupted. So various voltage levels are used for transmission of electric power, and these levels are determined by consideration regarding the amount of power to be transmitted and distance over which it is to be transmitted. And as you all know that higher the choice of the transmission voltage, the lower will be the current, and correspondingly the transmission losses will be minimized, as which is well known that increase of the scale of the current. So, in order to supply the uninterruptible power to consumer, it is important to know the connection of the electric power network and their importance. So, coming towards the connection scheme in power network, an electric power network can be classified according to the connection scheme they follow, and the connection schemes can be the radial system, parallel system, ring system, and mesh system. So coming towards the radial system, what is the radial system? This system is used only when the substation or generating station is located at the center of the consumer, and in this system different feeders radiate from a substation or generating station and feed the distributors at one end. Thus the main characteristics of a radial distribution system is that the power flow is only in one direction. You can see it in the single line diagram of a radial distribution system, that it is the simplest system and it has the lowest initial cost. Although this system is simplest and least expensive, but it is not reliable, because the major drawback of a radial distribution system is a fault in the feeder will result in the supply failure to associated consumer, as there won't be any alternative feeder to feed distributors, because you can see in the figure that the main characteristics of this network is that the power flow is only one direction. So a fault would result in the loss of the power supply to a number of customers until the fault is located and it is cleared. The next level of reliability is given by the parallel feeder system and parallel system. The disadvantage of a radial system is minimized by introducing this parallel feeder system, and in this system the initial cost of the system is much more, as the number of feeders is doubled. You can see here that the number of feeders are doubled, and such system may be used where reliability of the supply is important, or for load sharing where load is very high. So a great level of reliability and high cost is achieved with the parallel feeder, and you can see the parallel feeder system here in the figure, that two feeders are connected in parallel, and they are then connected to the consumer system. To improve the reliability factor, it may be possible to have a separate set of cable follow different routes, and in the event of the line fault, you can see that only one of the feeder set of the cable will be affected, and thus it will allow the remaining parallel feeder to continue the supply towards the load. So in this case the capital cost is double than the radial feeder, but there is a great reliability factor for the line, and this may be just justified if the load is very high, or more customers are being supplied, or there are loads such as hospitals which requires higher levels of reliability. So this system can be used, and parallel feeders are more common in urban areas, or where feeders to large single customers where load shedding is an emergency may be possible. So students, now coming towards a similar system, reliability can be achieved by using a ring distribution system. So coming toward a ring distribution system, here each distribution transformer is fed with two feeders, but with different paths. You can see that the feeder in this system form a loop, and which start from a substation bar, run through the load area feeding the distribution transformer, and then you can see that it will return to the substation bar. So this usually result from the growth of the load supply by parallel feeder, where the cabling has been installed along different routes, and they are most common in urban and industrial environment. And the advantage of the ring main system, as line voltage drops will be reduced here at various load substation, and there will be a firm supply, that is alternative path is available if the primary one fails to each load substation. And you can here see the figure clearly that how ring system is formed. So students, now coming towards the mesh system, the general rule is that there where large loads or number of customers are involved, then some of the standby in the form of deliberate redundancy is built in order to the network design through the use of parallel or meshed or ring type of the feeders. And in the mesh system, you can see that in transmission and sub-transmission system, usually the parallel and interconnected, that is the mesh system, are used here. You can see it in the figure, and this ensures that the alternative supply can be made to customers in the event of the failure of a transmission line or element. So only in outer rural areas would one consider only the radial supply at a sub-transmission level. On the other hand, simple radial supply is almost universally used for the low voltage feeders and even in the urban areas, because they supply relatively few customers. Okay students, after discussing different connection schemes, now coming towards our lab, the objective of our lab is to measure the voltage distribution in the series connection of two lines, and then we will investigate the effect of the operating capacitance on the voltages and current. So we will here we will pass two circuits. The first circuit will be in the first circuit there will be two transmission lines that will be connected in series, but in first case the operating capacitance will not be connected, and in the second circuit we will connect the operating capacitance by inserting the bridge plugs. Then we will investigate the effect of this operating capacitance on the voltages and currents, and also we will see the voltage distribution in the series connection of two lines, that how voltage is distributed in case of the series connection. So students, coming towards our circuit, you can see here in the circuit that we have to patch this circuit on the hardware module. In this case we have a variable supply, then we have a circuit breaker, after that we have a transformer, and then we will measure the current. Therefore we have connected an ammeter in series with our transmission line. So this circuit is similar to our previous circuits, but only difference is here is that we have used two transmission lines and both transmission lines are connected in series, and we have to measure the current. Therefore ammeter is connected in series with the load, and load here is only the resistive load. So we have connected the resistive load here, and we have measured the load current. Therefore we have connected ammeter in series. Here is our voltmeter, we have to measure the receiving end voltage. Therefore we will connect the voltmeter in parallel here, and also we have to measure the voltage on both sides, on the sending side also. Therefore we will connect the voltmeter here on the sending side, and we will measure the current on the sending side. So students, we will fill the table accordingly. You will see it in the hardware section. After doing this, the difference in this circuit is that you will see that in the figure, you can also see in the figure that here the line to line capacitance bridge plugs are not inserted. We have removed the line to line capacitive effect, and we have measured the voltages and current. In next part, what we have to do is in the next circuit you can see clearly that the same circuit will be patched, but only the difference in the circuit will be that here the bridge plugs will be inserted, and we will then measure the voltages and current on the sending side and also on the receiving side by increasing the load resistance from R1 to R5. So by increasing the load resistance, we will measure the voltages and current on the sending and receiving side, and we will see the effect of the load response of series connection with capacitance and without capacitance. So after that, students, you have to plot the voltage curve as a function of load current in a combined diagram, and you will see the effect of this plot, that what will be the effect of voltage and current by increasing the load resistance with capacitive response and without operating capacitive response. Okay students, now coming towards our hardware part, we have connect our circuit 10.3 shown in our manual on hardware. So first we have to connect our two series connected transmission line without line capacitance, and then we have to check the effect by increasing the load resistance. We have to see the effect on voltage and current without line capacitance, and then according to figure 10.5 we will add the bridge plugs, that is we will connect this line to line capacitance of both the transmission line, and then by increasing the load resistance we will measure the voltage and current on the sending and receiving side. So first students, coming towards circuit, we will discuss each part one by one. So students, you can here see that we have a variable three-phase power supply. So in this case we have used a three-phase variable supply, and each phase of a three-phase variable supply is connected here with our power circuit breaker. You can see here that each phase is connected with our power circuit breaker. Then output of each phase will go towards our transformer. In the figure or through procedure, you can see that the primary of the transformer is connected in the delta connection, and whereas the secondary is connected in star connection. So we have made here the delta connection. You can see here that delta connection is formed here, and here we will made the star connection. So here we have made the star connection, and we have connected it with the plus 5%, so that the voltages of the secondary will increase up to the plus 5% of the input voltage. After that, the output of the transformer will be connected with our transmission line, and you can see here that we have two transmission line. Number one transmission line is this, and this is our second transmission line. Now what we have to do, we have to connect these transmission line in series with each other. So from the output of the transformer, we have connected each phase with the transmission line, and then this transmission line will be connected in series with the next transmission line. So in the circuit you can see that we have to measure the sending end voltages, receiving end voltages of the each transmission line. So what we have to do, you can see here that we have connected in parallel, voltmeter is connected in parallel with the sending side. It means that here this voltmeter is connected in parallel with the first transmission line, so it will give us the voltages of the first transmission line. And then you can see in the figure that we have to connect the voltage in parallel with the second transmission line. So output voltages from the second transmission line is also connected in parallel with this voltmeter, so this will give us the voltage of the second transmission line. So here ammeter is also connected in series with the transmission line, so we have connected an ammeter in series with the transmission line, and here output goes into the ammeter, and then this will be connected with the transmission line, so it will give us the transmission line current, that is the second transmission line current. And that current of the first transmission line, we have also connected an ammeter in series. So here ammeter is also connected in series to measure the current of the first transmission line. So you can see that we have measured the voltage and current of each transmission lines. Therefore we have connected the ammeter and voltmeter both with the first and second transmission lines. Now coming towards the receiving end, from this transmission line, this is our receiving end, and from the receiving end we have connected the ammeter and the voltmeter again, because you can see in the table we have to measure the receiving end voltage. So for receiving end voltage we have used this voltmeter, and you can see here that this voltmeter is connected in parallel to measure the voltage at the receiving end, and also we have to measure the receiving end current. So therefore we have connected an ammeter in series with the receiving end, or this is connected in series with our load, and we have only connected a single load, that is resistive load, on the output terminal, because we have to measure only the resistive load current voltage, and we have only see the effect of the resistive load on the transmission line. So students, here we will measure our sending end voltage, sending end current, receiving end voltage and receiving end current of these transmission line without line capacitance. You can see here that the bridge plugs are removed here, because in first part we have to consider the transmission line without line to line capacitance. So students, you can see here that we have removed these bridge plugs here, that because we are not considering line to line capacitor of the transmission line, but we have to connect the resistive and inductive components. So we have inserted the bridge plugs to connect the line resistance and inductance of the transmission line. So students, now coming towards our readings. Okay students, now coming towards the readings. So first we have to measure the value of the sending end voltage, receiving end voltage and receiving end current by changing the value of the resistance from R1 to R7, and we have to set the input voltage to 220 volts. Now coming towards our circuit, we will take the readings. So students, first we will start our three-phase power supply, and then we will connect our power supply we will on the power circuit breaker here, and we will connect our power supply with whole circuit. Now students, what you will see here, that you are seeing two voltages here, and this is already discussed here, that we have connected two voltmeter. This first voltmeter is giving us the reading of the first transmission line voltage, and this second voltmeter is giving us the voltage of the second transmission line, because it is connected in parallel with our second transmission line. You can see here, and you can see the current is 0 on the sending side, and also it is 0 on the receiving end side, whereas receiving end voltages are shown here. It means that no load is connected here, all loads are at 0 value, so load is initially 0. Now what we will see here, that our sending end voltages are 235 volts. It means that these input voltage is 220 volts, but our sending end voltage is increased. This is because you can see here that we have already discussed here that our transformer is connected to +5, or secondary is connected here to +5 volts. It means that our voltages will increase, and you can see here it will increase to +5%. Therefore the input or sending voltages are increased. Now coming towards reading, students, we will first increase our load resistance to R1 value. So we will set the resistive load to R1. You can see here that we have set the load resistance to R1 value, and now we will measure the sending end voltage and receiving end current and receiving end voltage. So coming towards our readings. So students, this is the voltage of our first transmission line, and this is the voltage of our second transmission line. So this is our initially sending end voltage. So we will take the reading of our sending end voltage, and then we will see that this is our receiving end load current, that is IE, and this is our receiving end voltage. You can see here that our receiving end voltage is decreased. Okay students, we will note down it on our table. So students, you can see here we have filled the table accordingly. Now students, we will set our load resistive value to R2. By increasing the load resistance to R2 value, again we will measure our sending end voltage, receiving end voltage and current. You can see here our sending voltage is decreased to 229.3 volts. As load is increased, so receiving end current is increased, and receiving end voltage is further decreased, you can see that there is large amount of drop of voltage compared to our sending end voltage, because there is no line to line capacitance connected with our transmission lines. So we will note down the readings again. So students, you can see here we have filled the table accordingly. Now we will change our load to R3 value. Here students, you can see I have set the load resistive value to R3, and again we will measure the voltage and currents. You can see here this is our sending end voltage, and this is our receiving end current and receiving end voltage. So we will fill the table accordingly. So students, we have filled the table for R3 value. In the similar manner, we will increase our load value from R4, R6 and R7, and we will note down the values accordingly. So students, I have changed the load value from R5 to R6, and I have write down all the values of voltages and current. You can see here in the table. Now students, what you have to do, you have to plot the voltage curve as a function of load current in a combined diagram, and you will see the output result here. Students, now next we have to plot the next circuit that is shown in our figure 10.5, and in this case we have to insert in the procedure. You can see that we have insert all the bridge plugs that are connecting the capacitance to both line models. It means that in this case, in the first case, as we have removed the bridge plugs, so in the next case we will insert all the bridge plugs to both the line of transmission line 1 and 2, and then we will note down the readings. In this case, we have to measure the voltage of the first transmission line, and this is our voltage of second transmission line, and then we have to measure the current of the first transmission line and also the current of the second transmission line, and we have to measure the current of the load current that is on the receiving side, and we have to measure the voltage on the receiving side. So coming towards readings, first we will insert all bridge plugs, and then we will note down the readings by increasing the load values from R1 to R6 as previously done. Okay students? Now students, you can see I have inserted all bridge plugs which is connecting line to line capacitance for both transmission line 1 and also for transmission line 2. Now we will take the readings as we have done previously. We will increase our load value from R1 to R6 and measure the voltages. In this case, we will measure the voltages for both the transmission line and currents for both transmission line 1 and 2, and then we will measure the current and voltages on the receiving side. So first we will set our load resistive value to R1. Students, first I have set the load resistive value to 0, and I have seen the effect of this line to line capacitance, that after inserting the bridge plugs, you can see here that the voltage of the first transmission line was 234. That was the input voltage, because this was our first transmission line and this was its voltage, and due to the capacitive effect, you can see here the voltage of the second transmission line, because here the line to line capacitance was added. So after measuring the voltage of this second transmission line, you can see that voltages are increased to 329 volts, and on the receiving side, as no load is connected, so voltages are up to 400 volts, whereas the input voltage is only 220 volts. So you can see the effect of this line to line capacitance, and the load current is 0 because initially our load is 0. So now students, we will increase our load value to R1. Here you can see I have set the load resistive value to R1. Now I will measure the voltages and currents. So this is our line 1 voltage, and this is our line 2 voltage, and this is our line 1 current, line 2 current, and this was our line 1 current. and this is our receiving end current and receiving end voltage. So from the previous readings you can see that due to the effect of line to line capacitance, the receiving end voltages are not dropped to a very high value because input voltage was 220, and on receiving side even we have the more voltage than the input value. So we will fill the table, students. So students, now we will again note down the values we have taken. So we have filled our table accordingly. Now we will increase our load value to R2, R3, R4 and R5 and fill the table accordingly. So students, here I have set the load value to R2, and you can see here this is our line 1 voltage, this is our line 2 voltage, and this is our line 1 current, this is our line 2 current, and this is our receiving end current, that is load current is increased because load is increased, and this is our receiving end voltage that is dropped because of the increase of the load. So students, now we will fill the table accordingly. So students, we have filled the table accordingly. Now we will adopt the same procedure for R3 and R4. So students, after changing the load value to R3 and R4, I will take the readings and fill the table accordingly. So students, I have filled the values for both R3 and R4 load. Now we will set our load resistive value to R5. Here we have set the load value to R5 for each phase, and now again we will measure the voltage. This is our line 1 voltage, line 2 voltages are dropped because of the load, and this is our line 1 current, this is our line 2 current, almost they are same, and here this is our load current, and this is our receiving end voltage that is reduced to a large value because of the highly resistive load R5. So students, we will fill the table according to our values. So students, you can see I have filled the table according to our readings. So students, again you have to plot the voltage curve as a function of load current in a combined diagram, and you will compare both the graphs for table 1 and table 2.